Let us address some of the important questions that people ask after going through the first 20 lectures or so that we have gone through. One of the important questions that people ask is that does WordPress run on Windows or does it run on Linux? What operating system does WordPress run on? So WordPress is a software. It's a web software. So if we have to say what WordPress is, then WordPress is a web software. And the WordPress web software runs on all platforms, right? It runs on Windows, it runs on Linux, it runs on Mac OS. It's not a problem for it to run on any operating system. The reason it is so is because it is written in a language called PHP. So as long as you have PHP installed on your machine, whether it is Windows machine, so you have to first make sure that you have PHP installed on your Windows machine or your Linux machine or your Mac OS machine. So if you have this PHP installed on your machine, then this can WordPress, and let me just write here, WordPress can run on that machine. So that's not a problem. So that's the first thing you want to understand. PHP is available on most platforms. So if you're able to download PHP, and you can go to the PHP software, you can go to the PHP website and download the PHP software and install it. And there are different installations for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. After you've installed that, you should be able to run WordPress on your on any operating system. So that's the first thing that a lot of people ask. The second thing that people ask is that can WordPress be run on your own local machine? And the answer is yes, WordPress can be run on your own local machine. You just require, in order to run a software like WordPress, you require, like I said, one is that you require PHP. Then you would require a web server, because WordPress itself is not a web server, and you require something like Apache, for example, or IES, which is the Microsoft Explorer web server. So you require some web server in order for you to be able to run WordPress. So if you have these two, then the third thing which you require is a database. So you require to go down and you need to go get MySQL. So if you are able to get MySQL software, then that should be the third thing that you require. Let me just write it here. I was trying to find space, but that's the third thing. So if you have all these three, if you have PHP, if you have Apache software installed, and if you have MySQL installed, then you can go ahead, download WordPress software and run it on your machine. Sometimes these three softwares are also available in a package which is called LAMP, or they're also available for Windows in a package called VAMP. I know of a very good LAMP version or a software called XAMPP, which is something you can Google. So you can go download XAMPP or WAMP. These are softwares which collect PHP, Apache, and MySQL together. You don't have to separately install them. You run them, and then you have WordPress software. So if you run the XAMPP server and then you run WordPress, then you should be able to run WordPress on your own local machine. So it doesn't always have to be a hosting provider. A hosting provider always has taken care of installing the PHP, installing the web server, installing the database, and so we're just going to go ahead and use them. But it's possible to go ahead and use them separately, either installing PHP separately, Apache separately, MySQL separately, or installing this software called XAMPP or WAMP, and then downloading WP, which is WordPress, and then being able to run it. So that's the second question most people ask. The third question, we are not doing the host machine, your own local host thing, because in the end what is more important is that you are able to make a website for a client or for a business, and so you have to get familiar with hosting providers. The quicker you get down that path of going down and doing things on the hosting provider, the better it is. So even though it is possible, I certainly don't recommend it. I think after a point of time it becomes unnecessary and irrelevant to do something like that. Then when it comes to hosting providers, there are several hosting providers that are available. Some of them give very cheap deals, some of them are not so cheap. Like I said, Media Temple is one good web hosting company for WordPress, Media Temple, but it is somewhat expensive. DreamHost is an excellent WordPress provider. I know WebFaction is an excellent WordPress provider, GoDaddy is an excellent WordPress hosting provider. Plus, there are thousands of more, if not more, hosting services out there. We are learning right now, so it doesn't really matter if we get the best hosting provider, but tomorrow when you are going to run your own business, you are going to make website for people, then you have to see many different characteristics of what different hosting providers are, what quality of service they give you, how much they charge you, and so on. And so that judgment will become very important. There is a new technology that has come in called the cloud, and we have another course on cloud computing. I show in that course how you are going to be able to use the cloud to build your websites and not actually have to go down these different providers, but you can go with like Amazon or Rackspace, and you still have to go through these providers. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. What I meant was that instead of using something like a shared hosting or a private server, you can create something called instances, and computing instances or storage instances, and those are cheaper because and more efficient in the long run. So if you are able to do this, then lots of people are going to value your skills, because not many people know how to use a cloud properly. So I seriously recommend that after you do this WordPress course and the rest of the web designing course, then you also do the cloud cloud course, so that you can use the cloud properly.